Use the carnival to say I lose. All down on the ground. Walking on the bottom.
All right, folks, the Carnival costumes for 2019 recently launched, and some might say there's not much to see, while others might say there is too much to see. So we invited Jamaica Carnival costume designer Dania Beckford and the director of the Institute for Gender and Development Studies within the Regional Coordinating Office, Professor Opal Palmer Adessa, to talk design, varying tastes, and public perception, and culture, and too far, and too little, and too much, and everything else. So, ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here with us this morning. I suspect we have some pictures of what some of the carnival costumes look like this year. You have different groups. You designed Danes for
Jamaica International.
for how long now? For 3 years.
3 years.
Have you seen a trend? And if you have, what has that trend been?
Well, I have definitely seen a trend. Some costume designs are looking more like Rio. But there are others that have a little bit more balance, because I think that's because of our culture here in Jamaica, where we recognize that a lot of our women are full-figured. Some of the bands, including mine, we have decided that we want to create that balance, because everybody is supposed to be able to do carnival if you want to.
And that's why you got in the game in the first place, because you wanted to design for that woman who could not wear a piece of string.
Right, because it just wouldn't fit her.
Right.
Because our brand is saying that everybody can go to the beach.
Is that your brand?
No, that's
not. That is in our band, but not my design.
Okay.
So everybody can go to the beach, which is how we started to do swimsuits for full-figured women. And then we decided that, but hold on, I love carnival. Some of the things weren't fitting me, but I wanted to provide.
Yours.
This is mine,
I
and
love
this
that.
is the frontline option. So this is for the lady who wants to show a bit more skin, but there is a backline option where she can be as covered up with a little bit of things peeking out.
Professor, it's carnival. Shouldn't it be skimpy?
Well, it's carnival and it should be skimpy. I think, however, that we've gone to the extreme. I've been to carnival in Rio, so I've seen the very extreme, and carnival in Trinidad. I think we have to decide what Jamaica carnival is going to be, and if it's just going to be about flesh, which is what it seems to be trending towards, women showing their bodies. And I actually did interview some women last year who said they love to show their bodies and they like the freedom of that. So,
And you have an issue with that?
well, I per se don't have an issue with if that's what a woman chooses to do. I think we need to have those choices. However, I think with regards to carnival, there has been a tendency to just be about the body and showing the body, so that the view, the gaze, is more for the man, I think, than for the woman really developing her sense of her body and her sense of self.
What is Carnival in Rio about?
Well, Carnival in Rio has morphed, and Carnival in Rio is pretty, many would say, debauchery. But certainly Carnival is a time of freedom. That's what the whole notion of Carnival is.
Right.
And to Rio, they've taken it to the extent, you know, to the nth degree.
So we're just moving. I mean, I'm trying to see if we're veering from the theme or if we're just falling in line with what internationally the leaders in this industry have been doing.
I think that Jamaica is on trend, but there is also something else happening for me where I feel like it's juxtaposition to dancehall, in terms of some women in dancehall also get the criticism that they wear skimpy things and they're showing up their bodies. But for some women, they have worked hard all year in the gym. They want to show their body. Or they have worked their money all year and they want to do something to enjoy themselves. So it is a sort of empowerment for them.
Is there a little bit, Professor, of hypocrisy in there somewhere, that the dancehall folks can jump up and down in anything they want, and people, it's dancehall, it's Jamaican, but carnival...
And there is a dancehall costume this year.
Yeah, there's a dancehall custom. I think there are a couple of things that we need to look at. I think one is Jamaica is trending towards the rest of the world. We're really struggling with identity and what it means for us. And I think this is also true of our women, who are saying, yes, I want to show my body, but where does this notion of wanting to show your body come from? So I think we have to look at that, and I think we do have to look at the fact that there's a kind of, not so much, I hate to use the word promiscuity, but there's certainly a kind of revealing of self, a kind of unclothing that is happening in the culture.
Does the fact, and by the way, some of the
Promiscuity,
some of the costumes our producer decided not to show.
Yeah,
because,
they make up tops.
Does the fact that the parade happens on a Sunday have anything to do with whether they should be dressing like that or not?
I don't necessarily say the day is important. It's what Carnival is about, right? And Carnival is about revealing the full self.
No,
So
Bacchanal, it's Bacchus.
I only
right.
ask that because some people say no. It's,
Right,
we go
some
church
people are
on the day
objecting
and
because it's a
religious
Sunday and
day
church,
and-
but
Right.
then their Saturdays are religious days, and
Yes,
for
correct.
some people, so it's not really the day. It's
So
just that
let me ask you, ladies. We talk about the objectification of women, which is something that we talk about in gender all the time, through commercials, through whatever else. There's an argument that the women will put forward to say, how is this objectification of me when I'm the one who is choosing and
Right.
opting to go and spend my $900 US
Or more.
or
Or
more?
less. Whatever you choose.
I can buy, you know what I can buy?
Yeah, but it's about the
but-
experience.
Yes,
it's about the
yes,
experience.
yes, yes.
It is.
So-
It is about the objectification of women. And of course, women take it on and say, oh no, it's my freedom to show my body. But listen, to show your body in a certain way falls into the whole paradigm of your body is a commodity. And we
I
are,
disagree.
Carnival is about that.
But the men show their bodies too.
Yeah, I
they don't
disagree.
wear
Men
shirts.
don't necessarily show their bodies as much as the women
But
do.
them don't wear, I mean, usually
No,
they get ripped.
I disagree because I believe that you chose to do this. Nobody forced you to put on that costume. You actually go into a band house and you choose the one that you want based on your body type. Also, when I'm on the road gyrating in my costume that I feel comfortable in, I see men who they have their body showing and I'm quite liking it too. So I find that it's a very equal position.
Professor,
It's not about equality of position. One of the things we have to understand that we're all vulnerable to the kinds of normatives that get thrown out about the body. And that we in the Caribbean and we as women, our bodies have always been objectified. In fact, we're coming into our bodies, coming into the ownership of our bodies. And that's what much of the struggle is about. Do we own our bodies, whether it's our reproductive rights or not? So it's all well and good to say, well, you go into a store and you buy it, but you go into the store and you decide this is a costume you want because of certain other social constructs that have been developed that says this is what is sexy, this is what is trending. If you're a sexy woman and you're free, then this is what you should
Professor and Daniel,
wear.
what if everyone wore, these are my words, maybe I may not get it right, but like a full thing and cover up everything. But then
Full
you
how, like, say full on the left hand side.
yeah,
That's
and,
full.
well, you cover up everything, right?
Right.
So there's no argument about skimpy or not skimpy. But then you use the word gyrating. But then you see the men all over the women and stuff. Would Carnival be the same if we never had these skimpy costumes? Would people still be on the street looking and watching? And would there be a problem, Professor, if it wasn't like that, but men all over?
Well, Carnival has evolved, and over the years, the costumes have gotten skimpier and skimpier as we have
but
unclothed.
would it be the same?
I think you would still have the eyes because once there's a parade of bodies dancing down any public road, people
Whether
are
it
gonna
was
watch.
skimpy or not.
Whether
Yes.
you're skimpy
Don't
or
everybody
not.
have on t-shirt and shorts, with some bands
Whether
do,
or
Yes,
or
yeah.
not.
So then why we have to go there?
Because it's all about style and trend.
It's about style.
Whose
and trend.
style and whose trend?
Well, it's people all over the world because, you know, in different parts of the world, the costumes, even though everybody is kind of showing a little bit more skin, they look different. So some people, if you go to Carnival, it looks different from Jamaica, it looks different from Trinidad. So everybody has their own little unique thing happening.
Well, you
and
know-
as Professor said, it's for us to shape what we want ours to
You know
ultimately
what's
look like.
interesting to me is that you are a part of the design apparatus, but you are different from the design apparatus. So you're almost agreeing with Prof in a way, you know, because
Well-
what you have done is to say not everybody can wear this
Type.
piece of, right. So you're
Right.
actually, you know, providing something that provides more cover, provides more comfort for...
Because usually the full-figured women is not seen, they're not seen on stage modeling these costumes because they were not for them. But I'm saying full-figured women We want to show ourselves. We want to dance too. We love Carnival. We want to be on the road, but we want to feel comfortable.
And your group has been well patronized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Professor, overall, you have an issue with it? Overall.
Overall, I have an issue with the costumes that look very similar. That's my biggest issue.
What do you mean by look very
By
similar?
that, you know, they're all skimpy, but there's nothing, I don't find anything
beads.
particularly unique about them. Something that distinguishes them. They're all women with feathers.
So you would rather see what?
I would rather see costumes, in other words, where there is a much more artistic design and thematic. I think for me would
But
be.
don't we do that?
Designers will tell you they do that.
They say they do that, but you know, when I looked at the costumes last year and I was trying to find these various themes, most of them for me read very similar.
By the way,
in terms,
question, when you went to Rio, you were dressed as...
no, I was a
Yes.
spectator. I was using my camera. I was a voyeur.
I just wanted to know if you did like the Romans.
No.
Nice one there. Then where are your costumes available? Are you sold out?
We're not yet sold out.
Okay.
Our band house opens today on Lindsay Crescent,
Okay.
and we're inviting everybody to come on down.
What's the name of your band house?
My band house, Jamaica International,
What's the name of your costume?
Mendoza.
Mendoza.
All right. Jamaica Carnival costume designer Dania Beckford and the director of the Institute for Gender Development Studies within the Regional Coordinating Office, Professor Opal Palmer Adisa, who was in Rio.
What's your day now? Tell professional for Jan.
She says I should come into the band.
By
the way, just before we move on, we told you that we had a colleague who had a medical issue. We are happy to announce that he seems to be coming around and he's going to be fine, we pray. So I know we gave you a little scare, and we appreciate the messages that we've been getting to find out what's going on, but he seems to be okay. All right?
All right, coming up, folks, a chat and a comedic performance from Don Reed. Soon come.